Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Another big week of market swings. And for the update on that, I'm sorry, not going to get that today. Due to the Passover holiday, it actually will be delayed until next Wednesday. So be ready. I'll have to work extra hard to fit 7 days of market updates into the same time frame. Until then, let's talk planning. Today is April 26, 2024, and this is your Friday planning video. Today, I want to start with some vocabulary. You may know it already, but I want to dive into it a bit. First, let's talk about ALICE. I have to admit, I've heard about DINKs, dual income, no kids, SINKs, single income, no kids. I've never heard of ALICE, not to mention a whole list that goes on and on. DINKER, I do think we should add this one. That is dual income, no kids, early retirement. So that may be similar to ALICE, and we'll talk about that. Assets limited, income constrained, employed. This group makes too much to qualify for any government assistance, but not making enough to survive, or at least survive well. The name, by the way, comes from a United Way, United for ALICE program. The numbers are growing. Each state has almost a third of its population at or below the ALICE line. This group is having a very hard time with the inflationary pressures and the high interest rates. Now, this is just laying some groundwork for one more group to describe. This is the one that I want to discuss with you. We'll call it the boomer blow up. Not my term. I read it this week. This is about the young boomers. They call them peak boomers. About 30 million of them that are reaching retirement age or just quitting for good regardless. The majority of these boomers, according to a recent article written by Juliana Kaplan and Ayelet Sheffi, this group has $250,000 or less in assets. Now, if you and I have had conversations about retirement, this is not where you go, oh, $250,000, that's enough to live on for the next 40 years, right? No. So what is to come of this group? Let's dig in a bit more to who they are, and then we'll talk about some solutions that may be considered. There's a lot to consider if these solutions are right for you or for them, but I want to talk about one of the main problems and one of the possible solutions to that specific problem. Again, I won't discuss a specific product, but everything I'm about to discuss is very specific to the person. So this is not a recommendation to use this. It's just a thought on some ideas that you and I should discuss. Again, digging in a bit, there are some great facts, like while 56 million Americans over age 65 make up 17% of the population, they hold more than half of the nation's wealth. And that means they're all rich, right? Wrong. We know more than that. We know more than to believe that. Wealth inequality is significant here also. Federal Reserve data shows that 43% of age 55 to 64-year-olds have no retirement savings at all. That's as of 2022. We're not even going to get into the sandwich generation and all the issues there, at least not today. I want to focus on peak boomers and how they'll be able to make it through retirement with that nest egg. So many of these boomers envision themselves working until the day they die. The University of Michigan study, just to put a final point on the facts, shows that 52.5% of the peak boomers have $250,000 or less. Another 14.5% have $500,000 or less. Basically, this group will be depleting their savings and relying on Social Security for income in retirement. And we all know how that's sounding. So, why the difference? We have been hearing for years that the boomers are retiring in comfort. Why the change? One word, pension. Yes, the older boomers, they participated in defined benefit plans when they worked, mostly pensions. In addition to their investments and Social Security, this pension makes up a large part of their monthly income. All pensions, as pensions went away, this group of boomers began to use the defined contribution plans, the 401k type plans that you know today. So this is where the rubber hits the road. What are we to do? What are they to do? Can we bring back the pension? Not likely. If you're a teacher or first responder, possibly, but otherwise not likely. But leave it to the financial services industry to find solutions. Again, this is just an idea to discuss. This is not a recommendation to you specifically. There are way too many factors to consider. Yes, specifically the insurance industry has come up with some ways to set up permanent income stream for your assets. There are a lot of details and there are restrictions and many other items to consider. But as I mentioned this before, permanent income, in this case, using insurance products that provide a set income amount based on a bunch of important factors, is something that we should be discussing as part of your plan. So all of this is to complement your other investments and savings. We've discussed many times how important it is to save early and often and set aside that nest egg to grow. This is proof in the numbers. Yes, we are living longer. Yes, we are able to work in many jobs longer. But the key is here, we must plan for this. And this is why I send these videos every week. This is why I review the income plan and your financial plan on a regular basis. Please, if we've not reviewed this information recently, please let's talk about it soon. Finally, for today, since this has been such an uplifting video already, let me once again mention the importance of having your estate plan in place. This is not only writing it down and making sure it's up to date. That's a key part. but there's a lot to be said for the conversations with the family so that everyone knows what's coming and any errors or omissions can be corrected. I still recall the old whodunit movies where the will was read and Charlie Chan had to figure out who had the motive. Well, now I'm not suggesting that anything like that's going to happen, just that the old-fashioned will reading is a recipe for disaster in many cases. Tales from the front line again, I'm dealing now with a trust that was part of the estate and it's not the kind of trust that the heirs thought it would be. There again, surprises are not fun at this point. So as we go into the weekend, please let's discuss a few things, permanent income, and if this is right for you. And although I do not give tax or legal advice, it is important to stay up to date on your estate plan and any changes. Maybe have some discussions with the family about it. Again, no Monday market update until Wednesday, and there will be a lot to say. Until then, have a great weekend.